Yeah, something narcissists do is that they think that if they give you a house and financially support you, that it's impossible for them to abuse you. That's something I've seen for all narcissists
Yeah.
that have because narcissists, it's all about control, and control is the ultimate form of abuse. But yeah, for some reason, like narcissists think that like, well, if I can't be abusing you. I'm financially supporting you. What about all the times I've helped you out? That's narcissism speaking. That's like saying like that's like buying someone a computer and then beating them and say, well, how dare you talk about say I abused you after I just got you a computer or something, right? That's narcissism or narcissistic traits. Everyone has narcissistic traits,
Yeah.
but most everyone is pretty much a narcissist once you really analyze their behaviors and stuff. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, and remember how when I called the cops on David after he physically attacked me and strangulated me and then smiled to you? That's actually called the narcissist smirk. It's an actual phenomena. Narcissists do that a lot. Like there's a lot of narcissists in courts and they'll smile to the victim.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It was kind of reminding me of the Joker. It's
It
like,
that's you read my mind. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. But that's called the narcissist smirk. It's an actual phenomenon. One of the things that's fascinating about narcissists is that they pretty much all do the same things. They do all the same things. The difference is between a covert narcissist and a malignant narcissist. So David is a malignant narcissist. He doesn't even try hiding it, right? But he does all like he still controls and stuff. He just really doesn't hide it. And covert narcissism is more subconscious. Like a lot of times they don't realize that they're abusing someone, but that's why it's so frustrating having like a narcissistic family member or something is because like they will gaslight you that facts aren't facts. So what the key definition of gaslighting is telling someone that facts aren't facts. That's a key. That's one of the key signs of like one of the definitions of gaslighting. And it causes your brain physical damage and rewires your brain. Physically rewires your brain because you're told that reality isn't real, that you're not right without proving that you're not right. That's the distinction. Um, and it makes people question their sanity and reality for decades, especially if it goes on for so long.
yeah.
But yeah, remember how every time I've tried calling Paul for support against David's abuse, hasn't David beat me to the punch, calling him first?
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
So he was explaining his
Manipulating.
story. Yeah.
And so that's been going on my whole life. Me trying to get support from who is supposed to love me, but instead abuses me on David's behalf. And like it was fucked up is that he won't apologize for abusing me for 30 years under David's influence. So he abused me for 30 years from what David brainwashed him in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he won't apologize for that. So he literally said that I'm not even open to the possibility of being wrong. He told me that a while ago. He told me I'm not open to the possibility of being wrong. Meanwhile, he refuses to apologize for anything. Like it's so obvious to everyone else like what is happening, but it is never obvious to the narcissist or someone that's narcissistic, right? It's never obvious to them, even though it's plain as day. That's what's so frustrating. It's like you're looking at a chalkboard that and 2 plus 2 says 4, and they're looking at the same chalkboard telling you 2 plus 2 is 5. Like that's so what's so fucked up about it. It's like it's right there. How can you not see it? Like I all I did was send a picture of a previous message that he sent and told him like this is abusive. And then he literally told me that I was being aggressive and abusive. all I did was send a picture of a previous message he sent, basically, which proves, the whole point of it was that it contradicts what he was saying at that present time.
Oh.
So that message showed that he was wrong. That proved that he's wrong in being abusive.
Yeah.
That the actual definition of that is called victim blaming. Is when you blame a person for defending themselves, for defending their sanity. And he said things like, you have to allow people to be wrong. But so like he's admitting he's wrong, but at the same time he's saying I'm wrong. You see what I'm saying? That's how fucked gaslighting is. So think about it. So he told me I won't allow him to be wrong over the masks.
Oh.
But at the same time he won't allow me to be right. Yeah. See, I'm not actually considered. Like, I've never actually been considered. No one's actually put themselves in my shoes. Like, you can consider someone financially, but if you're not actually considering them elsewhere, then you're going to be abusing them somewhere along the line without realizing it. Because the only way to stop abuse is to apologize for what you did. Even if you didn't realize you were doing it, you still apologize, right?
Uh-huh.
And then when it's proven that when you take responsibility for something you didn't realize you were doing, you're less likely to do it in the future. Did you know that?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Exactly. But yeah, I like, that's what I don't get. It's like, my original claim was never that masks are 100%. I just said that masks can prevent you from getting sick, and they can. Just like seatbelts can stop you from dying. That doesn't mean that it's 100% or all the time, right? Very few things in life are absolutes, except for logic and, you know, hardcore science and math, right? Everything else is basically belief. Like, it's just fucked because he told me our relationship is beyond repair years ago for defending you. Think about that. The whole point of me bringing up masks was for your health. If I didn't care about your health, I never would have brought masks up. The whole point wasn't for me being right. The whole point was for your protection. You. Have I not always worn a mask every time I go outside? So it's not like I'm telling them to wear a mask and I don't wear a mask. I actually live by the science. Actually, you know, I live what I'm saying. It's not like I'm telling them to do something that I don't even do, right? And didn't he not wear a mask earlier yesterday?
I just noticed the box was empty down there.
Well, yeah, but he didn't ask for one, and he knows better.
Yeah.
That's an excuse.
Oh,
That's an excuse. If you're actually considering someone and you know you need to wear a mask, you would ask for a mask.
okay.
Right? That's an excuse by omission. And there's a difference between excuses and explanations. Like, anytime I explain a behavior, like CPTSD, he blamed me for he blamed some of my snappiness on autistic outbursts. And he said that was an excuse.
No, I don't think so. I don't think you can use that as an excuse.
Exactly. And I only did that one time. One time. I was trying to explain why the behavior happens. Not that I'm completely not at fault, but that there's a valid reason behind it. That it's not like I'm intentionally choosing to do it. So I'm never allowed to unintentionally do something, but they're allowed to unintentionally do anything. You see the double standard? And so like their whole idea of proving me wrong is just using confirmation bias and just finding a bunch of studies that say masks don't work at all. Like, masks don't work.
Uh-huh.
They don't prevent anything, and just to prove me wrong. But if I find 100 studies that say the Earth is flat, does that make it true? Exactly. That's called confirmation bias. You're confirming what you want to believe, because instead of analyzing, am I wrong here, and then looking at the science in the studies. So the science in the studies is what determines whether something is factual or not, right? Um, that there are bad studies, there are bad scientists, biases exist everywhere, but that's why we have meta-analyses. That's why we have so many different studies. That's why we have experts, right? That's why experts should be trusted over other studies, because those other studies aren't done by experts. They're usually done as their job. They're being paid to make these studies, right? They're not doing it out of like some genuine altruism, right, for the betterment of humanity. They're doing it because their paycheck is involved. It's called a fiduciary responsibility, a monetary responsibility. So you put your money over ethics. And it's like, I don't understand. Like, to me, the relationship is not irreparable.
It shouldn't. It shouldn't be when when you're especially when you're related. The door should always be opened
Right.
in family.
Right. I never physically attacked him or his kids, even after they physically attacked us both. I didn't even respond when his kids attacked me. I'm not a violent person. Being emotional is not being violent or being bad.
Yeah.
Being emotional is being human. And it's also saying that people with CPTSD are not allowed, or people with Tourette's are not allowed to have outbursts or anything like that. Imagine that. Like, the one thing that separates like humans from psychopaths is their ability to display emotions to other people, not just themselves, but to other people. That's like the defining trait of humans. It's even in animals. Even animals can feel emotions
Yeah.
for other beings, right? Otherwise, we wouldn't keep them as pets. But to me, it's like all I've ever asked is prove me wrong using science, right? And he said that the CDC and the World Health Organization, World Health, their studies are highly skewed and filled with half truths and could easily prove them wrong. He could easily prove them wrong, but he didn't, did he? He spent the entire time gaslighting me that I'm wrong when I'm not. He doesn't even understand what gaslighting is, right? Like, everyone gaslights someone subconsciously at some point in their life. That doesn't mean that they're not responsible, right? It doesn't mean that they shouldn't take responsibility when it's been made obvious to them. And so for me telling him that he's gaslighting me, he calls me abusive, right? And since then, I've been completely cut off. Like, I've tried reaching him. I've literally made video after video proving him wrong, going over text messages, sometimes overly emotive, because that's what you do when you love someone, but they're sitting there abusing you and they just won't admit they're wrong. But he even admitted he's wrong. Please let me be wrong. But then at the same time, you're wrong. Think about that. Please allow me to be wrong. Meanwhile, you're wrong. I disagree with facts, therefore the facts aren't there. So I literally told him that, like, literally told him I'm not arguing with him. I'm just fact checking misinformation. Do you know what he said? I disagree.
In what way?
Exactly.
I don't understand that.
Exactly. Like, when other people actually analyze this, it's really obvious what's going on. It's just never obvious to someone that's narcissistic like that, someone that lives off of their ego, than they do, empathy like that. Think about that. I respectfully disagree that you're just fact checking misinformation. Meanwhile, I literally showed him dozens of studies. I highlighted key points of the science itself in the studies. I didn't just show the studies. I actually cited cited, which is what you're supposed to do in a debate. You're supposed to cite something from a study, right? Debates are not, I'll show you my studies, and then the other person just shows counter studies, and then they win. That's not debates. Otherwise, debates wouldn't go on for hours long, right?
You just got to present your evidence.
Right, because think about this logically and rationally. If his idea is that I'm wrong simply because he shows studies that are biased and say the opposite of the world leading health organization, then why can't I just re-show the same studies by the World Health Organization and say he's wrong?
Kind of cross each other out, don't you?
Exactly. It would just go back. It'd be just a tug of war.
Yeah.
That's not how science or facts work, right? It's the data in the study that makes the study. A study is a source of information. That information can either be wrong, biased, half-truth, skewed, etc. But the World Health Organization, they update their studies when they're proven wrong.
Yeah.
And then he says facts aren't facts because they change. Now let's use basic third grade logic. If facts aren't facts because they change, nothing is factual.
Right.
That means time doesn't exist, age doesn't exist, birthdays don't exist, weather doesn't exist. It can rain one day and then not the other day. So if it rains yesterday and not today, does that mean it didn't rain yesterday? Exactly. Our understanding of science adapts the more smart and better tools we get. So our understanding of science changes mostly. And so as we understand science better and we get more precise at determining fact from fiction, we update our knowledge. That if we never think about it, if we never re-looked at data from the past and examined if it's still present and like still consistent in the future, we wouldn't have medicine. There wouldn't be like we'd have so many recalls of drugs. That's why we have recalls of drugs, right?
You have recalls.
Exactly. So there's a subjective fact, an objective fact, and empirical, and so there's a distinct difference between those three. And then there's also logic. So you use all of those together to determine whether something is real or not.
Yeah.
You don't just use one thing, you use multiple things, which is why I use logic so much, because without logic, there is no understanding anything. Because without logic, you can't understand how to apply that analogy to other things and see if it still holds.
Exactly.
That's why juxtapositions are a great way of learning. That's what I live off of, juxtapositions. I say, well, if I apply this somewhere else in another domain, does it make sense? And then I ask, why does it or does it not make sense?
Yeah.
Like that's basic logic.
It's just double checking it.
Yeah. Like I've gone over his messages gaslighting me about masks for years, have I not? So I put in all this work proving him wrong years after he's called me a liar and abused me on the behalf of David. And then he tells me that our relationship is irreparable. Think about it. Do you think that if I didn't love him, that it would bother me? So, right?
It wouldn't bother you at all if you didn't love him.
Exactly. And not only that, it's not about me. It's about you. That's been my key point the entire time, is that he said, you have to let people live and let live. Well, how can you let someone live if you could end up killing them by simply not wearing a mask? Like, if they got you sick and killed you, how would that be letting you live? You see what I'm saying? You apply it elsewhere. That's like seeing someone being attacked in an alleyway and say, oh, I'm just going to let them live and let live. And then the next day they were murdered. And you're like, oh, I couldn't have stopped it. I had no point. Like, I didn't do it myself, so therefore I'm not responsible. It would make sense if I physically attacked him,
Yeah.
or that, like, I was saying things that weren't true.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But I did one thing that I do remember that I did wrong, and I have apologized for this, is that I compared him to his father, right? So his father was extremely abuseful of you, right?
Of me, yeah, not to him though.
Yeah, so that's why they don't understand it. But you told me as a child how their father abused you.
Yeah.
Like, you're not supposed to tell a child these things.
No, I never told them.
No, but you told me as a
Yeah,
child.
I told you because you're not related.
Yeah, but you're still not supposed to tell a child these things.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying that, like, so I know things about their father that they don't even know about their father.
Yeah. I told you because I was trying to help you understand Clifford's behavior, because Clifford's behavior is quite similar to their father's a lot of times.
Right.
I don't know their father today. You know, things may be different, but when I knew him, when I was with him, their father was very high strung, and I don't know. I think he just took it out all on me. You know, everything was on me.
Like all your abusers, they'd abuse you and then blame you.
Understand, you know, that things
Yeah.
are inherited.
Yeah, exactly. Behaviors are inherited. They are. And mostly it's like subconsciously inherited. Just so frustrating.
Yeah.
Did he ever physically hurt you?
Who?
Their dad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He hit me once. I was 8 months pregnant with Paul.
My God. And didn't you I remember something you told me about his emotional and psychological abuse, which a lot of times can even be worse because those scars aren't visible and they can never heal sometimes. If you don't mind me asking, just for the sake of, like, our documentation of our life, because who knows how much longer we'll be alive, and I just want to leave an accurate reading of, like, what I went through, right? I don't, like, I want the facts to be recorded. Um, it's very important to document things as they are and as they happened. Because everyone is the hero in their own story.
Yeah.
So I remember you telling me that, like, you were suicidal, and then he victim blamed you. Do you feel okay talking about that or no?
Um, I think I was just really, really tired of it all. I was carrying the family. I was the only breadwinner, and I was just so tired that I took some sleeping pills because I was so tired, and I felt like just going to sleep and never waking up because I was too tired to even get up out of bed. So, and then he said that I slept 3 days, and he got mad at me when I woke up. And he started saying, "How dare you leave me here to raise these kids by myself?" And he was mad at me, and he didn't ask, he didn't ask me what was going on. He didn't ask me what was wrong or anything, or why I did that. I speak the bills. He just started accusing me and putting me down because I was leaving him. I was leaving him with children to raise, and he didn't want the He really didn't want the responsibility.
Right.
I was supposed to be doing it all, and when I was doing it all, I was just I was wiped out mentally, emotionally, physically. I was so worn out, so tired, trying to hold everything together because the dad wasn't working. He chose not to work. He wouldn't go get a job. So I was trying to hold everything together.
That's something that happens with abuse victims all the time, is that people think it's strange that you're the one suffering so much you contemplate ending your life because living is that bad, right? Like, people don't understand there are plenty of circumstances where living is worse than dying, right? That's why otherwise suicide wouldn't happen, right?
Right.
And it's weird that people blame the person trying to end their life instead of looking at the reasons why they're trying to do that and then fixing those issues.
Exactly.
Making life bearable so that it doesn't seem like a logical option, right?
Exactly.
People act as if there's never a logical reason to kill yourself or something like that. And like there are so many logical reasons to do that. And it's just strange that it's like this person is suffering so bad that they can't stand living anymore.
Yeah.
Everything is so torturous. Reality is so torturous. They cannot stand living anymore. And they just want the pain to end. And then people will blame the victim. And then say, well, think about everyone else you're leaving behind. That's narcissistic. Think about that. So they're ignoring the suffering that the person is going through, and then blaming them, victim blaming, and saying, think about the other people. Well, no one is thinking about the person's suffering.
Exactly.
Right? If they were considering the person's suffering, it wouldn't be a logical option.
Yeah.
That I experienced that in the hospital. Remember, all the nurses and everyone were giving me the most disgusting sneers. And remember that one nurse that was stitching up my arm?
Yeah.
She was victim blaming me. Remember that?
Yeah.
That blonde nurse?
But they were so mean.
Yeah, she's a psychopath. Yeah, I mentioned that it was hurting, and she's like, well, you shouldn't have cut yourself then.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even though I was under the influence of an Ambien, it causes blackouts.
Yeah.
You're not responsible for what happens in a blackout. Like, you're not conscious in any way. And I mixed it with alcohol, and I had never done something to that degree before that.
Yeah.
And I guess at some point, some part of me at that point realized how deep I cut, and then I went to the emergency hospital, right? And like, I regret putting you through that, but like, at the same time, like, it's not like I'm abusing someone else, right? And that was from David's and everyone's gaslighting me for 30 years, telling me, because the insidious thing about David is that he lied to everyone and then got them to gaslight me that I wasn't being abused while he's abusing me. So meanwhile, he's abusing me, hitting me and stuff like that, manipulating and emotionally abusing you. But then at the same time, he convinced everyone else that he wasn't doing that. So the other family was abusing me. Like, he literally used everyone as a puppet. No one wants to admit that they were used like a puppet, but that's exactly what it was, wasn't it? That's what's so insidious, like how insidious narcissism and malignant narcissists can be, is because like they're so good at convincing other people that they can get other people to abuse their victim for them.
Yeah.
Right?